Hey there, 7th graders, and welcome to this explainer. We're diving straight into your guided notes for Unit 2, Lesson 1, focusing all on everyday communication. So, if you've got those notes right in front of you, you are exactly where you need to be. We're going to map out how you'll start speaking, listening, and really, truly understanding Mandarin right from day one. Real quick, our roadmap for today looks like this. We'll hit the Chinese learning journey, Pinyin and tone foundations, how tones change meaning, handling everyday Chinese communication, and wrap up with testing your Mandarin knowledge. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the Chinese learning journey, setting the global standard. So before we start filling out these specific guided notes, we really need to look at the big picture, right? Like, how is Chinese proficiency actually measured across the globe? It definitely helps to know what mountain we're climbing here. That brings us to the HSK, which is China's national standardized test. Basically, it evaluates how well non-native speakers can communicate in everyday life, studying, and working scenarios. Think of it as your leveling up system in the video game of learning Mandarin. It doesn't just check if you memorized a dictionary, it actually tracks your ability to communicate in real, everyday situations. And the first 3 milestones on this journey, they progress super quickly. You move from simple daily exchanges in Level 1 to basic communication in Level 2, and then boom, you hit effective communication in Level 3. Your 7th grade guided notes are specifically designed to build up that foundational Level 1 muscle. Now, for those of you wondering just how high this mountain actually goes, Level 9 is the absolute ultimate goal. We're talking precise, in-depth communication across some seriously complex academic and professional situations. It's a huge achievement. But to get there, we absolutely have to start with the basics. Moving right along to Section 2, Pinyin and Tone Foundations, your first building blocks. The big, essential question guiding our foundation here is, how do pronunciation and tone actually change meaning? Before we can build this house of everyday communication in Unit 2, we need a rock-solid foundation. And here's a huge pronunciation misconception for English speakers. A lot of folks assume Chinese tones are just like English intonation. Where raising your voice at the end of a sentence just means you're asking a question or showing surprise. Yeah, not in Mandarin. In Mandarin, the pitch actually changes the dictionary meaning of the word. That is exactly why, in your prerequisite guided notes review, we meticulously practice tone contour. We are mapping those flat, rising, and falling pitches with your voice, so you don't accidentally call your mother a horse. Trust me, you don't want to do that. To answer that question and really lock in this review, we're focusing on some specific student outcomes. We want to turn sounds and tones into your first actual introductions. So in your workbook, you're going to complete a Level A repetition and meaning matching exercise. You'll listen to audio clips, repeat the sounds out loud, and then match the pinyin to the correct English meanings. We're strictly focusing on those core greetings and classroom survival phrases that are going to prep you for the next level. The really crucial point here is learning how to compare the sounds you already know in English with this entirely new sound system of Mandarin. It's all about leveraging the knowledge you already have. Because while some sounds are kind of similar to English, others are going to require you to train your mouth and tongue to move in completely new ways. It's like a workout for your vocal cords. All right, on to Section 3, how tones change meaning, precision in practice. Since tones completely dictate meaning, you're going to be using them immediately to navigate your classroom, greet your teacher, and even just say your own name accurately. We're going to drill down on the key vocabulary required for these exact situations. You aren't just memorizing random words here, guys. You're memorizing the exact tools you need to introduce yourself properly and transition smoothly right into conversational lessons. I really want to emphasize this number, 1. Everything in these foundational prerequisite steps is laser-focused on getting you to that HSK Level 1 milestone. We want you fully, 100% prepared to tackle Unit 2. Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, handling everyday Chinese communication, real-world applications. Our next essential question shifts our focus a bit. How can a beginning learner handle everyday communication needs? We are officially moving from just figuring out how to make sounds to actually surviving and thriving in daily interactions using the Chinese language. This is where it gets really fun. You'll be applying your new key vocabulary to incredibly practical, concrete, real-world topics. We're talking about ordering food, discussing your daily routine, and chatting about your family and school. For example, in your Unit 2 guided notes, you'll actually model a respectful daily life exchange. You're going to learn the nuanced cultural differences between, say, giving a casual hello to a classmate versus giving a formal, respectful greeting to your teacher or an elder. And your progression through these lesson activities happens in 3 clear steps. In step 1, you start out by just asking and answering simple questions. Then you step it up to step 2, where you'll complete a level B dialogue and listening self-check. This basically means you'll listen to native speakers having a short conversation, and you'll check your own understanding. Finally, in step 3, you'll be creating your very own presentation scripts. A really great example of this is the 4-line challenge dialogue you'll be writing, which actually includes a special cultural note on the proper way to exchange names in Chinese culture. It is all about making those real-world connections. We want to make sure that what you're learning right now in 7th grade translates directly into genuine language proficiency out there in the real world. By the time you finish this unit's guided notes, you won't just know a list of words, you'll actually know how to use them appropriately in context. And finally, Section 5, Testing Your Mandarin Knowledge Next Steps. I want you to keep this final question in mind as you dive headfirst into Unit 2. How will you use these foundational building blocks of pinyin and tones to tackle your very first everyday communication challenge? Because honestly, every single sound and tone you master brings you one step closer to unlocking the real world of Chinese communication. So let's do a quick, brief student check right now. I want you to look at your guided notes, double-check that those essential questions are filled in, take a deep breath, and get ready to start speaking. I really hope this explainer has you energized to tackle your Mandarin journey, so how will you make your first words count? Keep practicing those tones, and I'll see you in the next one.